So, what is 666, class? They want you to think it's the devil. No, 666, that's us. 6 electrons, 6 neutrons, 6 protons. All right? And I said protons, not photons. Photons is what's in the sun. Photon energy, not protons. All right? Photon energy, that's in the sun. All right? Photon energy is in the sun. I'm talking protons, which is inside of you. All right? I showed you the coil of hair, the double helix, right? Now, within each helix, you have what? What is it shaped like? Let's look closer. That's how your hair look. Didn't I just show y'all that with the DEA strand? But notice that. What them look like? 6's. Your hair follicle is shaped like 3 upside down 6's. This is how fucking cold we are. We design the essence of us and we put it into everything because we are everything. All right? So your hair coil connects you back home to the home planet, to headquarters. A lot of you trying to meditate. A lot of you trying to lock it up. Lock it up and see how much more you tap in. You don't want to lock it up. Don't lock it up. But I'm telling you, if you want to tap in more, you need to lock it up. If you really want to tap, if you really want to ascend to that level, see, everybody ain't ready for that level. Everybody not ready for this type of talk right now. Everybody not ready to use their locs to open up portals around them. You know what I'm saying? They're not ready yet. You are a non-ether being. You are the original. Your antennas to your consciousness. Let me show you your hair follicles again. Pay close attention. Now, before I showed you that picture, I just showed you the double helix link. But I want to show you that picture next. Same thing. That's how your hair look. Your hair is 3 upside down 6's. Actually 4. 3, and then the last one represents the connection. Because each follicle connects you to every planet. You can receive downloads not just from our home planet, Sirius X, Xylanthia, but from all other type of planets and other beings. Yes. That's why you have so much ether that grows. That's why you got so many pores. Hair follicles, you want to call them. When you got ether, each one connects you. Mars, Venus, this dimension, that dimension. It like connects you. And then you got hair that's growing on your head that don't even come all the way out like this. This is how deep you get. And that 4-way of light here, you got liquid, solids, gases, plasma, energy. Same thing, the hair follicles. You need your antennas to consciousness to be conscious, period. Yeah. Look at them. Hold on. Look. They want to be us so bad. They want to be us so bad. They want them some locs too, cause they know. Look at him. See? If you look up dreadlocks, that's what's gonna pop up first on Google. Yeah. Get in tune with the goddess, Queen Nanny. And I'm gonna make my own separate video on Queen Nanny, just for YouTube, myself. But I want y'all to check this one out, cause they gave a little drop about her. They lied about some shit, but they gave some drop about her. Hey, you think they still better hear that on the TV? They should.
They should have seen
it. Yeah. I'm finna put this up on the TV real quick, y'all, so y'all can see it. I don't want to be showing it on no phone. None of that. None of that reflections. Queen Nanny class. Okay, so this is why they call them dreadlocks, because of her. And what the Maroons was doing. Know the true history of why they are locks, not dreadlocks. Locks, not dreadlocks, class. Let's go. So, another gangster. You know what I'm saying? That's a lesson. Oh, and please note that she was a gangster. Let that be known, she was gangster. Another gangster, class. Another revolutionary. Queen Nanny, right? I'm gonna pull her up so y'all can watch her. Let's listen. This is why they call them dreadlocks, because they dreaded seeing their ass, the Maroons.
Camera action. So today, guys, we're looking at an interesting individual by the name of Nanny. No, not Nanny, as in Mary Poppins. But Nanny the Maroon, who managed to fight off and gain independence against the British through guerrilla warfare and organizing her people in the art of espionage and camouflage. Now, for me, with Jamaican ancestry, I found it very interesting, and I hope you learned something too. And as always, provoking thought.
Situated somewhere between mystic and martyr, rebel and myth, priestess and warrior, Queen Nanny of the Maroons occupies one of the few positions recognized as a Jamaican national hero. Queen Nanny, or Granny Nanny, as she was affectionately called, has largely been ignored by historians who have given more of their focus to male figures in Maroon history. Despite being mentioned only 4 times in written historical text, and usually in somewhat derogatory terms, Queen Nanny is held in the highest esteem among the Maroons.
This is a Maroon way of feeling coconut in the jungle.
Let's see it.
Pick him up.
The Maroons are descended from West African slaves brought to Jamaica by the Spanish. They escaped slavery and fled to the mountains to live off the land with the Taino Indians.
But their numbers surged in 1655 when the British invaded Jamaica
The Spanish abandoned their plantations, and more slaves escaped to join the Maroons in Jamaica's isolated Central Mountains. When the British tried to take control, the Maroons fought 2 guerrilla wars, eventually forcing the British to recognize their autonomy and establish their freedom in the late 1700s, more than 50 years before the British abolished the slave trade and over 200 years before Jamaica's independence.
She was the spiritual, cultural, and military leader of the Windward Maroons. Queen Nanny's legacy lies in the fact that she guided the Maroons through the most intense period of their resistance against the British between 1725 and 1740. There are contradicting reports of Queen Nanny's arrival in Jamaica. One report states that she arrived from the African tribe of either Ashanti or Akan as a free woman, perhaps with slaves of her own.
Lies.
Consistent reports state that she was sold into slavery with her family, who were brought across the Middle Passage and delivered to the plantations of St. Thomas Parish, Jamaica. As a child, Queen Nanny strained under hard labor in the sugar fields until she and her brothers escaped into the Blue Mountains. Nanny, along with her brothers, Akapong, Kujo, Johnny, and Kwai, became known for their bravery in leading the Maroons in resistant rebellion against the British ruling over Jamaica. Queen Nanny escaped into the mountainous landscape of Jamaica and was instrumental in forming a community of free women, men, and children which became known as the Maroons. Maroon was originally a term that referred to runaway farm animals, mainly cattle. Soon the term spread throughout the region to identify slaves who had successfully escaped from the plantations of the whites. Therefore, the Maroons in Jamaica were a problem for the colonists. From the time the British seized Jamaica from the Spanish in the middle of the 17th century, wars were fought over the capture and control of Maroons. The core of the Maroon settlement was the valuation of women and their contribution to Maroon survival. Since women played such an integral role of Maroon development and strategic battle defenses, it is no surprise that one of the most famous Maroon leaders to emerge from the pages of history is a woman. By 1720, Queen Nanny had taken full control of the Blue Mountain rebel town, which was later named Nanny Town. Even though images depict her as a young black woman, Queen Nanny was a small, wiry woman with piercing eyes who was probably in her 60s. Both legends and documents refer to her as having exceptional leadership qualities. Queen Nanny was particularly skilled in organizing the guerrilla warfare, and her military genius was unparalleled. For example, Queen Nanny incorporated the use of camouflage, using branches and leaves wrapped around warriors' bodies to blend in with the environment. She instructed her soldiers to stand as still as possible so that they would resemble trees. Another military strategy was a communication system based on the cadences of drums and abangs, also known as horns, which were unintelligible to the enemy. The knowledge of Queen Nanny's spiritual beliefs also provided an element of psychological warfare.
Listen.
Struck terror in the hearts of the enemy. There are many legends told of Queen Nanny. One story is of a huge cauldron of boiling liquid that she strategically placed on a mountain trail on the way to Nanny Town. The pot was said to be boiling, even though there was no fire beneath the pot. British soldiers approaching would curiously look inside and die. Each soldier coming up the single file path would meet with the same end, except for the last one, who Queen Nanny would save. The last soldier was sent back to tell his general what he witnessed. Contemporary historians maintain that the pot contained special herbs with anesthetic properties. Being a skilled herbalist, Nanny prepared the cauldron, knowing as the soldiers approached, they would inhale the vapors and become drugged to their deaths. The most famous legend about Queen Nanny takes place during 1737, at the height of the Maroon resistance against the British. Queen Nanny and her people were near starvation. When she was on the brink of surrendering to the British, she heard voices from her ancestors telling her not to give up and wait one more day. When she woke up the next morning, she found 3 pumpkin seeds in her pocket, which she planted on the hillside. Within a week, the seeds grew into large plants loaded with pumpkins that provided much-needed food for the starving community. To this day, one of the hills near Nannytown is known as Pumpkin Hill. It was said that Queen Nanny could turn into an invisible bird to spy on the enemy and strike them from a distance. Some reports state she wore bracelets and anklets made from the teeth of British soldiers. Mystery even surrounds Queen Nanny's death. It is commonly believed that she met an untimely death at the instigation of the British in 1734. Other accounts say that she died in 1750 of old age. Queen Nanny of the Maroons is the kind of character one sees in modern-day action movies or reads about in a superhero comic strip. Except for 2 differences. She was a black African female and a real person. Her intelligence.
Okay. Good look, y'all. My bad. Did y'all hear that? About Queen Nanny? She lied about some shit. She said she might have had slaves. That white lady was lying.